Hello and welcome to the fourth round of Zafiralis All Rounder Championship tonight at Fern Bay Green in Live for Speed. I'm Peter Butcher, you're watching Sim Broadcasts, and let's dive straight into the action this evening. We have got a frantic 36-lap dash around the infamous Fern Bay Green configuration. 3.1 kilometres, 1.9 miles. 30 minutes of qualifying has just concluded, and we will bring you the results of that in just a moment's time. But yeah, Fern Bay Green, what a track to test the FXO, the 1.9 litre turbocharged flat four front wheel drive 234 brake horsepower beast around these tight and twisty corners, as well as a couple of straights to contend with. This is going to be a challenge for the drivers for sure, especially through those front wheels. Let's take a look at the schedule for this series. We've already had 3 rounds at Blackwood, testing out the rallycross tyres, the slick tyres, and of course the road super tyres, which we are doing at all the different track environments in Live for Speed. The second 3 races of this championship will take place at Fern Bay. Tonight's action is at Fern Bay Green, and then next month in May we are going to be at Fern Bay Black with the UFR, which is the most insane combination I've ever seen written down on paper, but there we are. The UFR, which is prone to rolling over the curbs at Fern Bay Black, the biggest set of curbs in Live for Speed. Zafiralis, are you mad? We're here for it. It's going to be a good one. So yeah, tune in May, on May 6th, for the UFR at Fern Bay Black, and definitely compete in that. That is going to be a super challenge, and hopefully an entertaining broadcast. Qualifying wrapped up moments ago, and here are the results. Oscar for World Class Lions got pole position with a 1:17.36 ahead of Mantas for Once a Race. Then it's Thamuli for the home team, ZFRL. World Class Lions Team Soini there in P4 with Lorenzo, the Snash, Motamikari, Roni, Magic and Mandula, your top 10, with Michael Malik, Kurek, Perry D01 and Epsus qualifying there quite a way actually off the 110% time, so not sure whether he'll be allowed to start. We'll get a confirmation of that when we head to the action. Quickly before we go live for the race, let's check out the Drivers' Championship standings. Here we are. Thamuli leads the way with 45 points ahead of Race Green's Mandula, Gabor in P3 with Aska, Rex, Roni, Zesty, Mantas, Magic and Timu Soini, your top 10. Then we've got Keke Rosberger, Motti Macari, Mad Jester, RD2, Lorenzo, JSK, Michael Malik, Twincam, Texas, and Showa, your top 20. And then over on the second page, we have just 6 results with Fin UK, Tazka, Swarfo, Motodonas, Martin Kapal, and Cool. So there we go. That's your championship standings as they currently are. And with that done, we are going to head to the action. So here we are then for the start of the race, and it looks like we have got Oscar there on the pole position, and off we go for the start of this one. It's Oscar with a pretty good start alongside Thamuli and Timu Soini in the background, but Oscar gets a good start away immediately there, and well, actually a very good launch. He is already a couple of seconds up the road as everybody else trying to find their footing in this race early doors. We've got the Team America drivers in the mix down here, and Roni in a Powerpuff livery, as Timu Soini potentially losing out here on the outside, and he's going to go over the curbs. Takes a bit of a ride over there as the two cars behind him try to get through. So Soini being muscled down the order quite considerably here as Mandula decides to snake around the outside. And again, the 2 Team America drivers muscling their way through yet again. As we've got someone off there in the background. Off onto the grass, that was Roni, as he rejoins with a little bit of damage already to the front right of his machine. And Oscar, a pretty good start over the final curbs, and off on his way onto lap 2 already in this race. Here's to Snash. He is defending from Mandula. He's got a couple of cars going through the tyre wall. That was Motta Macari at the front of this train. with Magic right behind, being overtaken there by Michael. Somewhat similar liveries actually from quite a few of these drivers, going with the red and grey. Sort of hard to tell them apart. But no mistaking the Team America car. Desnash in the background now, getting alongside Magic as we go on the run down to the middle sector here. And now that's Mantas in the multicoloured Born to Race livery going up the inside of Magic. There he goes. And into the braking zone. Desnash going for a move up the inside on Michael and makes a big hash of it and losing out on 2 positions. So not ideal that from Desnash, but plenty of laps left in this one to make up places as we watch Magic go through the final chicane. Oh, a little bit out of place, and that's Mantula going off into the wall. Not a good end to the lap for him. Got to be careful how he rejoins. He drives well out of the way and then actually retires immediately after that. So not happy to continue on, even though we've got a pretty lengthy race ahead of us here. So we're down a driver as we switch to Motta McCarry, who is in a fight now with Michael Malek and Mantas. So Mantas here trying to feel his way around Fernbay Green. Not the easiest track to contend with, especially in the front-wheel drive FXO. It does like to eat up its front tyres. We've got a good view here of Michael's car as he attempts to try and get away as we approach the final sector. Very, very difficult sector this, especially on the fronts. Mantas super late on the brakes up the inside on Michael. Michael able to hold it around the outside. Yep, just about. And these two still side by side, but Mantas with the advantage now. He'll have the inside line for the final chicane. And here he goes into the final chicane ahead of Michael Malek. And, well, the Team America boys, they're certainly keen as that's Fed smashing into the wall on the outside there. And he's going to lose a whole ton of time. He's going to lose out to Team Usoini. So a little bit unlucky. But through he goes. As Alejandro times out of the server there. But we have a World Class Lions Asker leading from Thamuli. Then it's Born to Race Mantas. Motta McCarry for ZFRL. So the 2 ZFRL boys in 2nd and 4th at the moment. Series organisers. And then Desnash with arguably the biggest group of cars right behind him. Michael Malek, Magic, Team Usoini and Fed. With 136 just there as well. As Michael goes for a move on the inside, down into the braking zone. And that's a clean pass. As they make their way onto the bridge overpass. 6 cars all together here at the back, so this is definitely where the action is as they file through this chicane. This combination has been used a lot over the years actually, especially in TBO Challenge and the Genuine Racing GTI Trophy as we go 3 wide, surely not into the first chicane. And it's Desnash who leads everybody through. Michael Malek following very closely now on the outside, trying to make a move somewhere. And seems to have got through just about, and Desnash loses then a place. And Magic is now in that Team America sandwich. What can he do from here? Here they are coming down to the middle part of the lap. It's a pretty fast right-hander. Quite an eventful set of corners. They're all managing it quite well at this stage of the race while their tyres are nice and fresh. Ask them that again in around about 20 minutes time when they've had a chance to get some energy into them, as Magic goes up the inside, has to take to the curb and loses a bunch of time. Mantas up to P3 is setting the timing screens alight. He's got the fastest lap currently. and sets his sights then on the back of Thamuli, but it's Asker who leads onto lap 6 ahead of Thamuli. Mantas across start finish in P3, then it's Mortimer Carey, Michael Malik best of the rest in P5. Desnash coming through as well, piling on a bit of pressure onto Michael. Magic here also in the mix with Fede defending from 136, who's not chosen his usual his usual Born to Race livery. He's gone with some sort of wine coloured deep red or purple. Is he going to go for a move? Yes, he is, into the fast right. Thinks a second about it and opts not to put his nose where it doesn't belong. That would have been an audacious move, as Mantas now has caught right up to the back of Thamuli. And we'll surely be hoping to get through somewhere on the lap. Takes so much more curb than Thamuli through the final chicane, but somewhat compromised, a bit too much overspeed on the exit, and we'll have to think about somewhere else to go for that move. As through we go, through the chicane, up and over the curbs, and down to the beach area, where it's very, very easy to get your FXO stuck in there. Absolutely. But Mantas is harrying the back of Thamuli now. He really wants to get through, but he needs to do better than that. He needs to position his car a little bit more precisely than that if he wants to get through super close. Asker just being able to walk away. 3 seconds of the gap. Mantas goes for the move. Oh, but then Thamuli turns in immediately on him. I'm not sure really what Mantas could have done there. Mantas was well alongside. Is Mantas going to give him the place back? He is. Mantas gives him the place back and risks losing out to Mortimer Carrier as a result. So Mantas clearly felt that he'd wronged Thamuli there. It looked completely legit from our camera angle, but maybe from Mantas's point of view, he thought he maybe spooked Thamuli. Either way, Asker's been given a very, very healthy advantage then. I think Mantas will want to get the move done in a bit more legitimately than perhaps he thought that he did it in the previous lap. Yeah, let's see what else is going on the lap here. We've got 136 being mugged by, well, Michael and one of the Team American drivers there. That's Fede. Let's keep an eye on 136 and see if he can get back past Michael. Michael's had a rear left impact somewhere on the lap. Missed that. But the rear end of that car is now completely mangled. And, well, that's going to be an uncomfortable remainder for the race. The rear axle's about, well, 3 inches, 4 inches shorter than it should be. See, that car is going to start having a bit of an issue. But should make it fairly easy for 136 to effect a pass if he can line him up. Let's ride on board with 136 as we head onto the bridge. And here they come. Or you can hear that 136 is putting plenty of energy through the front of his car there as they go over the chicane, and there's a Team America car off, and Michael, oh, that's absolutely horrible for Michael there. Had absolutely nowhere to go, so his luck unfortunately runs out, and Desnash completely totals him, and Michael Malik is, well, unfortunately out of the race on his roof down at the final chicane. Nothing he could have done. Completely unlucky. Meanwhile, Mantas has managed to get through on Thamuli. That move has just happened while we were watching Michael upside down, and he does in fact remove himself from the race. Sorry about that. So on lap 9, as we currently see it, it is Asker followed by Mantas for Born to Race. He's managed to get past the first of the two ZFRL cars, second of which is Motta-Macari, Thamuli followed by Motta-Macari. P5 then is Born to Race 136 with Team America Fede just behind, and Team Usoini then is in P7 as it stands. Roni, after that spin at the beginning through the corner he just went through, finds himself down in P8, and Magic is all the way down in a lonely P9, but still circulating as our race leader approaches him in P10. And well, just like Magic, Michael Malik joins me in the commentary box now. Michael, that was an unlucky way to go out the race.
Yeah, this race was a little bit shorter than anticipated, and apparently the gods of racing weren't with me tonight, so there we are. So good to be back here.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a good race, but you know what happened with you? We saw that you had a little bit of damage on the rear end that you picked up before your eventual demise. What happened there?
I think a little bit before I had a little coming through the tire stacks in the first chicane, but it got away pretty much well, only some cosmetic damage. But then at the end of lap 8, the guy ahead of me crashed. I had nowhere to go, and unfortunately the RNG decided that I end up on the roof and had to retire, so that's the end for me for tonight.
Well, sorry to hear it, but welcome to the commentary box nonetheless. Are you going to stick around for the duration? Are you going to watch from the other side of the camera? You might as well.
I guess I'll stay around and enjoy the race with you.
Well, thank you very much. Gives my voice a bit of a rest during some of the parts. But yeah, we're currently watching Mantas, qualified kind of mid-pack, which is a little bit unusual for Mantas, maybe just getting up to speed with the front-wheel drive FXO again.
Well, to be honest, I think Mantas is just seeking some bigger challenge, because otherwise he would be leading by a big margin at this point. So let's see how this race goes. It's still 26 laps to go, and I think Mantas, while still too far behind Arska, still can have opportunity to get close to him.
Yeah, Thamuli just behind as well in P3. Motta-Macari, the other ZFRL car, just behind him at P4. Team Usoini running well, solidly mid-pack as usual. Well, actually, that's pretty unfair. I think we've seen him up the front of some of the grids recently as well, but P5 in this race is very respectable. 136 has had a bit of a ding-dong as well. He's got essentially the opposite damage to what you had, Michael. Look at that.
Yeah, it looks like he hit the wall from the other side, but it looks like it's cosmetic damage as well. At least he doesn't seem to be struggling with driving very much. But I can see that Arska and David is already struggling with the tire temperatures, so that might compromise his driving for the rest of the race.
We'll see how he gets on. I suspect that a number of drivers during the roughly 45 minutes of racing here are going to arrive at heat peak, which is the point at which the tyres reach their maximum temperature and start to cool down. But you have to endure a period where the car becomes extremely difficult to control, and you don't want to put too much energy through the tyres, because that's when you will go over the point of no return and have all sorts of issues trying to keep the car on the road. As we lose Fede somewhere on the lap, he has removed himself from the race. So we're down to 8 runners in the 4th round of the ZFRL All Rounder Championship, series organised by the Zafiralis team, where we visit a number of different environments in Live for Speed and test out different cars with different tyre compounds in each of those environments. So we had 3 rounds at Blackwood at the beginning of this championship, and now we're on to Fern Bay, Michael. And I don't know if you heard, but the next round is going to be the UFR at Fern Bay Black of all configurations.
I'm already concerned, as I think that's one of the hardest car and truck combinations you can find in LFS, so there will be a lot of DNFs in that race, and it will be a tough challenge.
Yeah, but we love a challenge. But I think the main challenge there will be to keep the car on its wheels. I think you'll agree that is a spicy, brave combo for the organisers to have chosen. But I'm here for it, as I mentioned in the pre-show, as Mantas goes over one such set of curbs that may affect the UFR if anybody chooses to just clip one. The car seems to roll over on the straights, let alone over some of these big curbs. So the drivers had better have some practice under their belts before the next race on the 6th of May. As we switch back to Thamuli, who is doing a nice job currently on the podium position. And then we've got Motta Macari here in P4. And Timu Soini still running around in P5. And Roni, the first of 3 race green drivers that started this race. We've lost Mandula, Michael, at some point. He dropped out very early. I think it was lap 2 or 3 at the final chicane. Just clipped the wall, speared off, and then that was it. He gave up.
Yeah, he was one of the first retirees from the race. And I'm looking that Mantas is already catching slowly Arska as the gap went down to only 4 seconds. So I think it's a matter of time before they are together.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it. I'd a wager that Mantas has got plenty of performance left in those front tyres. And yeah, I think Arska is really starting to struggle. 0.4 of a second taken away from him in the first sector alone, and we'll see what that becomes as he enters the final sector. You just see a flash of Arska's car going through the shot there, and as we head down into the kind of final part of the lap, another 0.3 taken out of him there, Michael.
Yeah, he's catching him really fast, so we can witness some lead change in a few laps from now. As Arska is now apparently catching up some back markers, so let's hope he stay away from trouble.
Yeah, nicely through the final chicane for Mantas. Let's get a look at the gap as they go across start-finish. I think it might have just hovered above 3 seconds, but definitely dropping down as we go through the first chicane. And yeah, Arska is... Oh, you can see how much he caught him there. The gap, in fact, down to 2.4 seconds. So Arska definitely struggling with those front tyres. The Mantas at peak performance, fastest lap of the race under his belt as well. So let's stick with this and see where on the lap it happens, because I think it's going to be this lap or next. Oh yeah, Arska's running seriously wide through the chicane there, Michael.
Yeah, he's struggling very much for grip, and I think the next lap might be the best opportunity for Mantas to get past, as he is already at the striking distance, but I'm sure he will be patient because still there are about 20 laps to go, so no need to run ahead quickly.
No, but no real reason to play with his meal either. Might as well get it done in a safe way, in a quick way, and be done with it. But here we go, through the final chicane we go, and will we see a lead change onto the start-finish straight between Mantas and Arska? Perhaps not. Mantas seems to be loading, or at least trying to psych out Arska. Arska wide, and yeah, Mantas through. He was just waiting there, just biding his time.
Yeah, that was way too easy.
Yeah, way too easy. Piled on the pressure. Arska a little bit slidey through the chicane, and Mantas through. And because of the state of the front of Arska's car, those front tyres, he just doesn't have any response at all at this stage. And that is that, really. Mantas will be free to open up the gap as much as he wants.
Yeah, and the big question is if Teomule can catch Arska as well. He's not that far back, and with 20 laps to go at this pace, I think Arska can be under pressure soon.
Yeah, well, let's compare the gaps now. I think Thamuli's taken almost a second out of Arska in the last sector alone. So I think you might actually, well, almost a second. I think you might be right. I think that gap will come down. I think Thamuli has definitely looked after his tyres a little bit better than Arska has. But the real test will be the stopwatch at start-finish. And see if he's made any gains. Well, only 1/10 of a second overall during that lap, but Mantas getting through another back marker. That was magic. And well, Arska just losing a little bit more time and going off the track. So yeah, that's definitely going to play into the hands of Thamuli. You won't quite have seen that happen, but gets the corner right himself, so no problem for him.
And Arska now has a back marker ahead of him, so that can slow him down even more.
Yeah, Magic will get out of the way though. Magic's not the sort of driver to impede someone else's race. Arska still has a bit of time before he catches up to him, of course. In a way, I reckon Magic's tyres are probably better than Arska's at this stage.
Maybe Magic can run away.
Maybe not. Arska's still got pace in that FXO. Ooh, clunky over the final curbs, but out onto the home straight. But there is Thamuli, almost certainly gaining. Let's see what the gap is over start-finish between Thamuli and Arska. 3.2 seconds. So yeah, over a second taken out of Arska on that lap alone for Thamuli. So definitely doing the good fight here as we approach halfway through the race at the end of this lap. 36 laps will come and go pretty quickly, even with just 8 drivers left in the running in round number 4. Be great to see a higher number of cars on the grid for round 5, the UFR at Fern Bay Black on May 6th. Add it to your calendars if you fancy that carnage, because it will be carnage, guaranteed, Michael.
I've been on the roof too many times with this car, so I have big anticipation with it.
Exciting stuff. Well, here we go. Arska is now catching up to the back of Magic. And there, looming large in the background, is also Thamuli, who will be definitely looking to gain that place as soon as possible, and is surely on for a pretty decent P2 in this race if he can keep the tyres alive. Arska will, of course, respond. He'll know that Thamuli is catching him, and has already responded. In fact, he's brought the gap back up to 5.2 seconds. Sorry, that's the gap to the lead. The gap to Thamuli is 3 seconds now, so my apologies.
Yeah, Thamuli was 0.3 of a second faster in the last lap, so he's still catching him.
Yeah, Martin McCarry some way back at this point. 12 seconds off of Thamuli, 20 seconds off the lead, and our lead is now 6 seconds. There is the gap between Mantas and Arska, almost the length of this little straight. But the gap between P2 and P3 in this race much smaller. Thamuli slowly chipping away at the advantage of Arska, who has now moved past Magic, our back marker. Here they come through the final chicane, and we'll see what that gap is over start finish. I don't expect it's changed too much. Arska seems to have had a pretty decent end to the lap, 0.3 of a second only. So slowly but surely, really is chipping time out of Arska's advantage. Timu Soini is in a bit of a gap as well, 10 seconds to Martin McCarry, and 29 seconds, 30 seconds pretty much, back to 136. So an absolute age between P5 and P6 in this race. But it would seem as though 136 has been through the pit lane, Michael, because that car is nice and repaired.
Yeah, exactly, but he's really trying to get the damage again as he goes through the tire stack on the final chicane.
Yeah, he was more happy with the car with a few dents in it by the looks of it. As Roney there also pushing in P7. And, well, Magic's still actually able to stick with Thamuli, who's just got past him. So he's let him through somewhere on the lap. And the gap now down to 2.01 seconds over start finish between Thimuli and Asker. So where's it going to happen, Michael? This lap or the next? Probably next or one after that, but pretty soon nonetheless.
I would give 4 to 5 laps at this point, as he's cutting off a few tenths of a second per lap, and he still has a whole 2 seconds to go. So I think about 5 laps until he's right on the tail of Arska.
Well, it's another 10th and a half in the first sector alone. So let's see. Yeah, really able to use the rear of the car quite well, Thimuli. Much better balance than some of the drivers, clearly, out there on the track. As a kick of dust is sent into the air by Asker there. And nice and gentle on the throttle. This car, when you get it hooked up, Michael, it flows so nicely. Even for a front-wheel drive car, you can really use the rear of the car to get the thing turned in. The FXO was one of the cars I enjoyed driving and racing the most, actually, in Need for Speed. It's difficult, but it's so rewarding when you get it right.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this car as well. Maybe because others are struggling with it more than me, so I can get good results. But it is true that with this car, it is really difficult to manage tires in terms of temperatures. And looking at Arska's tires, I think his front right tire is so hot it is considering a career in modeling.
Wow, I mean, I like that. That's a good one. I heard that before, but yeah, I'm sure you'd prefer to be in the race than stuck here with me, because you were clearly enjoying it. Yeah, the FXO is definitely a challenge.
I'm considering in commentary.
Okay, well, there we are. Yeah, you're right. Thimuli is gaining, but now to a lesser degree. So the gap has somewhat stabilized. So we'll give them a little bit more time for that battle to cook. There you can see that those two have somewhat gapped magic in the background. But someone who is gapping the whole field now is Mantas by almost 10 seconds over anyone else. Mantas really the class of the field today. Came from pretty much the back to the front and now leads an 8-car field onto lap 23 of 36 here in round 4 of the Zafiralis All Rounder Championship, a series where we test all different tyre compounds at all the different LFS environments throughout the course of the year, one race a month. And next month on May 6th, it is the UFR at Fern Bay Black with all those lovely curbs to contend with a car that likes to roll over. That is a test, if there was any. A match made in hell, Michael?
Absolutely. I think if I attend that race, I will put the sponsors on the car upside down, so it's more useful.
Yeah, put all the main sponsors on the roof, I think, and yeah, the stuff on the door, put that upside down. Definitely a good call. So at least your sponsors get some airtime, literally. As Mantas weaves his way through the final sector, now over 10 seconds in the lead, so cementing his grip on the top step at this point. We've seen drivers crashing out left and right, though, not for a little while. The race certainly has settled down as we enter lap 24 now from Mantas. He adds another one to the tally. But here we are. Asker versus Thimuli. That's where it's at, isn't it? We've got these two right on top of each other again. And, yep, Thimuli now less than a second off.
Yeah, only 6 tenths of a second, and I think he might be on the run right now. As he goes alongside, he will be on the outside of that turn, but he's nearly ahead. Still gives room on the inside and is now safely through in 2, and I'm sure he will steam away from Arska.
Yeah, Asker's tyres have just absolutely had it, and Thimuli makes it up to P2 in the race. Good effort from him. And yeah, our championship leader up into P2. Mantas currently P8 in the championship. Probably, looking to close in on the top of this as the series draws to a close towards the end of the year. But at the moment, Thamuli doing a great job to take as many points as he can. And if he keeps having results like this, or at least pending results like this, Michael, he could do pretty well in the championship that is run by his own team.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the point scoring system works, but with good results like that, he's definitely a contender for the overall victory.
Well, it's 15 points for a win. It's 11 points for second, all the way down to 10 points for first. There is also a very decent prize pool in this championship. 150 euros of prizes on offer for the drivers at the end of the series, which is very generous. 70 euros going the way of the top driver at the end of the 12 months. 40 euros to second place, 25 euros to third place, 10 euros to fourth place, and 5 euros to fifth place. Not bad, right? It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it sounds like a good motivational trait.
Yeah, so we need more drivers on the grid for the next races. There's still time to get some points and get into the top 5. But here we are with Mantas 15 seconds now in the lead. I mean, if there was anything to say, I'd say he's now dominating. Just wondering who really can compete with Mantas nowadays. I guess it's probably the Sidus boys, wherever they are, competing elsewhere possibly, but yeah.
Well, I think I could fight Mantas, but I would need GTR cars while he would be still in FXO, so that's the only way I can beat him.
I think you just need to put a little bit more time into the old practice there, Michael. We know you're pretty busy. Is there anything you want to say about your upcoming championship?
Sure, that it's just around the corner, and I'm looking forward for another exciting Formula E inspired racing, which round 1, which will be at the Mexico City E-Prix circuit replica this Sunday. So, yeah, I'm hoping for some good action.
Yeah, so get yourself signed up to Master Race Cars E-Challenge. Sign up is on the forum. And yeah, we're looking forward to that in partnership again with New Dimension Racing. Sim Broadcast will bring you all 4 rounds of the E-Challenge yet again throughout April and May. 4 rounds at replica circuits, which Michael has put together painstakingly, I might add. Excruciating levels of detail. Mantas leads tonight's action in ZFRL All Rounder Championship ahead of this car. This is Thamuli. And then in third place we have Asker, who is struggling somewhat with his tyre temperatures.
Luckily for him, the gap to the car behind him is big enough so we can maintain that lead before the lap counter reaches 0. Or 36
now,
in this case. Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on Monty McCarry because Monty McCarry's tyres are in somewhat of a better shape. I mean, Asker's best lap time is only, well, actually, it's slower than it's only just better than Monty McCarry's. So Monty McCarry, although his outright pace isn't as fast necessarily as Asker, you might be able to catch him if he can start to turn the screws a bit. 14 seconds the gap, so it is going down to Asker. Asker just struggling. Let's see what Monty McCarry's lap time is this time around. Monty McCarry gets a 1:19.39, and Asker's lap time is a 1:19.9, so 0.6 of a second. Monty McCarry found on that lap. So, well, it's definitely something.
Yeah, but there's only about 8 laps to go, so not much room to catch, unless Arska does some terrible mistake.
Let's see how Mantas navigates the back markers. He's coming up to the back of Roni now. This is to put a lap down on P7. Oh, and wow, that was unusual. There's only 8 cars on the track, and 2 of them nearly came together during a lapping. Don't see that very often, but there we are. Mantas is through, and Roni will be wondering how on earth Mantas is that fast in an FXO around here. It is annoying being lapped, isn't it? Honestly, it's the worst feeling.
It always is, but sometimes you just had to accept that someone is way faster than you, and better to just move away. I know that feeling very well, so let's just race queen.
I'm not impressed with your fighting talk at all. I think accepting that someone is faster than you is never a good solution, Michael. Dig deeper, fight harder, practice harder. You can do it. I believe in you, seriously. There's always time to make up, and especially in Live for Speed. Live for Speed is one of those simulators that will help you get there. As we watch Soini, Team Soini, LFS veteran, coming through the first chicane down to the beach area. As Mantas makes his way through yet another driver, and this time his teammate 136 goes a lap down. As we see in the timing tower, a +1 lap appearing next to his name. There we go. And Mantas claims another lap over someone else. And yeah, we have 6 laps to go at the end of this one. Everybody here, Michael, is a pretty familiar name. So pretty. We shouldn't expect too much drama before the end. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, what's remaining on the track is the group of highly skilled drivers, very common in the LFS. I see most of these every week, so it's safe to say that we probably won't see any major mistake from anyone.
No, but we do have Roni catching up to the back of 136, so we may yet see an overtake for position on track. There's only 1.7 seconds between the 2 of them. So let's see what happens. 136 went off the track briefly on the back straight. So there's fight left in these 2. They are going to definitely want to... 136 is going to want to defend his 6th position, and Roni would quite like to have it in his Powerpuff Girls livery.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not using his classic green livery. So, yeah.
Well, it's not RTFR, is it? He gets a chance to use some other livery that he's got.
Well, yes, but I always recall him using some sort of green livery, so I'm wondering if there's some backstory to this skin.
Yeah, I haven't quite got to the bottom of that. Maybe we need to ask Owen. Owen's normally the one that knows about everyone's skins. Usually very astute and aware of why certain people use a certain livery. And there we go. Well, Roni is definitely catching up to 136, so we'll stick with this for now until we run out of laps and have to pay attention to Mantas again, who is now, by the way, 20 seconds adrift. Well, 20 seconds up the road, should I say, from the Mooley. Quite a remarkable gap to have opened up. As 136 makes another error at the chicane. That was quite some way over the curb.
Rene apparently did a mistake in the final turn as well, so the gap remains pretty much same, about 8 to 9 tenths of a second. As these 2 have only about 4 laps to go, so not much room for improvement. From here it looks like 136 has tires in better condition than Ronnie, so I'd assume that if everything goes right for him, he should be able to get away.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be changing, but that seems to have settled down. Everyone seems to be in quite a comfortable buffer zone, just essentially racing themselves. It gets to this point of the race sometimes where the only person you're racing is yourself. You just have to keep the concentration, keep on the road. This is a skill you develop normally during practice and during the races, during endurance competition, but lesser seen during a sprint race. Normally there's plenty of cars to battle with, but when everyone drops off the track and retires, you're left with only yourself to concentrate on, and sometimes that's the hardest person to race with, isn't it, Michael?
Yeah, absolutely. It's essentially a race with the time, and you are always losing. So
there we go. Yeah. Thank you for demonstrating that perfectly for us, Soini.
Luckily, no harm for him done, as no one is not even close. So yeah, he can afford a mistake or two like that.
It's sometimes hard as well when the tires are degrading and the setup is changing, and you've got no other cars for reference. It's quite easy to sometimes, brake a little bit too late, brake a little bit too early, enter the corner in a different way. There's a different kind of feel to the car, and it's often easier to make a mistake like that. As Mantas comes through the final sector to make it 3 laps to go, and he'll be quite happy with his performance. It's now over 20 seconds. The gap to everyone else. He'll be quite satisfied with that, I'm sure. I'm sure he would have wanted someone to play with, but you can't always get your own way. And sometimes it's nice to just obliterate your opponents, humiliate your opponents, and that's what Mantas is doing now.
And Ronnie has crashed in the first chicane.
Ronnie has rolled it and he's out. He's already spectated. First chicane went on his roof, unfortunately, so we do have drama in the late stages. Well, that's annoying. 3 laps to go and he's over on his roof and out of the race. So yeah, like I said, you're racing yourself at this point. And the mistakes just creep in. So unlucky that for Mr. Krompush. But as the laps wear on, Mantas is about to tick another one away. We've got Thamuli in P2 still, Asker in P3. Martin McCarry now in P4, just off the podium. Soini away back in 5th. 1 through 6 in 6th, and Magic promoted to P7 after his teammate politely left the race on his roof. Maybe he should have had the sponsors on his car upside down, Michael.
Yeah, definitely.
Mind you, it wouldn't have helped because we missed it on the cameras. So he was very eager to get out of the way of whoever was coming and removed himself from the track.
Yeah, I'm sure René wouldn't be really obstructing the racing line for very long, so it's very sensible from him.
Well, Mantas is doing everything right at the moment. Just 1.5 laps to go in round number 4 of ZFRL All Rounder Championship, demonstrating that he is the master on road supers at Fern Bay. I don't think anybody else is going to argue that fact. 24 second lead, having worked his way through the entire field to get to the front, is a feat. And here he comes across start finish to start the final lap, where we will get an update on his gap to Thamuli, which should have gone over 24 seconds. But he is looking super comfortable. Everything completely in hand. Here comes Thamuli out of the final corner. That just gives you an idea of the gap that he has. Basically the entire length of the circuit, Michael, at this point. Yeah,
a whole sector of difference in between them, and it's 24 seconds, I think, is it?
24, yeah. 24.2 over the line. Zarska is 11 seconds back from Thamuli as well. So the top 3 separated by half a minute at the end of the 36 lap epic around Fern Bay Green. Definitely a challenge. Just arriving at the grid, practiced enough to put laps around here is enough. Got to find a setup. Got to do some tweaks for your driving style. Make sure that the car can actually make it to the end of a 36-lap race here. Some drivers have done that better than others. But Mantas is the king at Fern Bay today. He will come across start-finish to humiliate everyone else in a great time, 47 minutes. Could have been better if he'd have started higher up and got a good position on the grid, but nevertheless, an exercise in racecraft from him this evening. Finishing the race in 47 minutes, and we are going to wait another 20 seconds or so for Thamuli to come around the line to increase his points haul as championship leader in the inaugural season of the All Rounder Championship. 26 seconds, Michael, can you believe it? And Asker, well, he's making a pig's meal of the final corner. Eventually drags his FXO over start finish. 37 seconds back in P3, our podium finishers. And then it will be Mortimer Carey, the second and final ZFRL car in this evening's finishers. And yeah, I do feel sorry for you, Michael. I do wonder where you would have ended up being in this race if you'd not been unceremoniously dumped out of it by one of the Team America drivers, to Snash, I think, unfortunately. But yeah, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I was wrong time and wrong place, but things like that happen. Realistically, I think I could finish around P4. So I don't know. I didn't figure out if I would struggle with tire heat or not. Depending on that, I might or might not be able to catch Arska, but I think P4 would be definitely possible if I was to win the race.
Well, the race results have you down as in P11. DNF 19%, 29 laps down, unfortunately. But, you know, that's not last place, even though you were kind of dumped out of the race. But on our table, it is Mantas who takes the honours today, 47 minutes and 6 seconds ahead of Thamuli, as the drivers arrange themselves into some sort of order on the grid. And yeah, we have Thamuli in P2, Asker in P3, Mortimer Carey, Timu Soini, 1 through 6 Magic, and who else we got? We got Roni, Feder, Desnash, Michael, Alejandro, and Mandula are your podium finishers, and it's quite a pretty podium in the end. The drivers sat there on the grid for us to watch. Thank you to them for arranging themselves in such a way. That was a nice race, Michael. Definitely a challenge for the drivers, and yeah, nice to commentate on. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, I've enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to the even bigger challenge in about a month's time from now, when we'll be racing the UFR around Fern Bay Black.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, because obviously, yeah, that is the next one to come, round number 5, in a few weeks' time on May 6th, the UFR at Fern Bay Black. Certainly going to be a challenge for our drivers over there, and yeah, that will be the second of 3 races at Fern Bay for the All Rounder Championship, as we move to the kind of second batch of races that we have in this series. So, Michael, thanks for kind of joining me, spontaneously after coming off worse for wear, should we say, in this race. But hopefully we'll see you back in May. What do you reckon?
I hope I'll have time, but I will definitely try to be there to at least try to finish, if not anything else. So yeah, looking forward.
Well, I wish you well with that, and hopefully we'll see you back in May. And good luck with the first round of the E-Challenge this Sunday. That'll be kicking off this week as well. So yeah, please drop a sign up on the LFS forum for E-Challenge, and we hope to see you on the grid for ZFRL All Rounder Championship next time for all of you watching. And yeah, from all of us here at Sim Broadcast, we hope you enjoyed it, and we hope to see you at the next round, trying to compete with Mantas from Born to Race, who seems to be absolutely on top of his game, Michael. There's absolutely nothing that can be said against the guy. Really, really is the class of the field. Who is going to show Mantas where to stick it? Let's see what happens next time in round number 5 with the UFR. Oof, that's going to be a competition not to miss. So we'll see you all there. From all of us here, from Michael and myself, have a great evening. We'll see you on the next one. Good night.
Good night.